Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are having great time in reInvent 2024. Today, welcome to NTA301, which is automating scalable order processing using generative AI. My name is Priyanka Chaudhary. I'm a senior solution architect in AWS, and today we'll be co-presenting with my account manager Matt Soroko and two guest speakers, David McTarnigan, who is the CEO of AffinityX, and Mark Schreiber, who is the general manager of Cloudwick. And today we have a well-packed agenda for 60 minutes. We'll be starting with generative AI on AWS and introduction to Anthropic Claude models in Amazon Bedrock. So we'll be talking about AffinityX story, which helped generative AI team. Generative AI can be used there and created a magic over there and process the model, process the orders. And then in the end, we'll be talking about Cloudwick Amorphic solution, which is powered by AWS. So let's start with generative AI stack on AWS. I think you must have seen this slide a couple of times here in AWS reInvent, because since I am a senior solution architect in AWS, and we talk about this, when we talk about this, the journey with the customer, like how to start the generative AI, they are asking, the first question is like, how to start that? So to start with, we always refer this slide, and we always refer that you have a 3-tier to start the journey. So basically, if the customer is looking for training their own models, they want to use the high compute chips, and want to use like and you must have heard like lots of announcement related to AWS Trainium, Inferentia. And so basically, these are the chips which can provide you very high compute instances. You can leverage it for training the model. So basically, the lowest tier is for the customers who are looking for a solution where they want to train the models by their own. The second layer, which we are seeing in the screen, is Amazon Bedrock, which is a managed service which can be used which can give you the option of using foundational model, which is created by multiple AI organizations like Stability AI or Anthropic or like Anthropic, Stability AI, A121 labs, and many more models are supported in Amazon Bedrock. And Amazon Bedrock has a certain more features more than that, like agents, studio, and we'll be talking about a little bit in the next few slides. And also the topmost tier is for more customers who wants to expedite their journey with the generative AI, and they want to directly leverage some of our chatbots which has already been created, and you want to just tie it with the knowledge base, and you can get all the answers from the knowledge base itself. So that's the 3-tier we always recommend to our customer. And since the solution we will be talking about is Amorphic, is based out of Amazon Bedrock, we'll be talking more in that sense, and Amazon Bedrock will be the key over here. So let's talk about Amazon Bedrock over here. So Amazon Bedrock is a managed service which can be used for like high performing models like Stability AI, A121 labs, and also like Anthropic is one of the model we support, Cohere, Meta, and Mistral AI. So you can leverage those and test your data set and find out like whether the solution you are getting it, whether the output you are liking it or not. So you can compare your models over here, and you don't have to manage any infrastructure also. So basically everything is serverless, you don't have to manage any infrastructure, and you can also do the customization with the models as well. So you're not only using the models, just whatever is present in the as a features like any AI organization is giving you, but also you can customize models using RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, and also using fine tuning. So retrieval augmented generation is something like you can create your knowledge base and create your domain as your main AI output, And similarly, you can fine tune your models and keep a copy of the model to your and keep it in your VPC, keep it in your virtual private cloud so that nobody else can use it. Basically, it's your model itself. And then agents also plays a major role over here. If you have a need of like creating like multiple workflows, multiple tasks, you can access agents. And what agents can do is like complete your automation. So basically, agents can help you to do the whole booking by providing, like if you want to do travel booking, you are just giving inputs about your basic stuff, and in the end, like you will be getting the output, the complete output, like your travel is booked. So agents plays major role over here. Also, security, privacy, and safety is one of the key for Amazon Bedrock, and we'll be talking about that in our next slide. Oops. So Amazon Bedrock is as secure as any other service you are using in AWS, whether it is Amazon S3, whether you're using RDS or any service like, and it also comprised of like encryption. If your data is in transit or data is in rest, you are still getting encrypted output actually. And also like if you are using it for any fine tuning, just like I mentioned, it will create a container for you. That model is yours and nobody is using your data to train models further. So that is the beauty of Amazon Bedrock, and data remains in your region. There will be no interference at all. Also, it supports GDPR, SOC and ISO, CSA, compliance and HIPAA eligibility as well. So if you have a workload which needs like a compliance requirement, you can still use the Bedrock and create your generative AI application. Now, since we learned about Bedrock a little bit and the Amorphic solution which Mark will be presenting today, it has Anthropic Claude, which is the key in the solution. So let's learn about Anthropic a little bit. So Anthropic has a very good relationship with AWS from past 2-3 years. And what is this company doing is like, it's a research company, everybody knows that, and it's building a most intelligent, capable and safest large language models. And many of the founders of this organization even write the paper who are the paradigm of setting up generative AI. So the AI expert at Anthropic have continued to publish frontier research, and that has defined the bleeding edge of safety techniques. So basically in the models, when you train a model and when you are using any AI model, you always want to use such models which is safer for your outputs, right? You don't want any human interference in that, like it should be AI generated and AI should be given the feedback. And that's why Anthropic follows some rules which is called constitution AI. Let's learn about constitutional AI here. So what is constitutional AI specifically is, it's a methodology which Anthropic uses to train their model, and basically the main simple terms, it says that we don't want to get the feedback from any human. So basically it's get trained with the more effective data sets, so the outputs will be delivered in more purest and more transparent way. So data will be more trained based on the most effective data sets, and output will be delivered. And this is really useful because if the data is good, you will be getting the better results. So that's the key, that constitutional AI is being used by Anthropic, and that creates a safety rules. So since the Anthropic journey had begun in Bedrock, we have like a certain model came up, and it started in 2023, and it's beginning with the Claude 2, Claude 2.1, and now it's Claude 3. And in past 3 months, we got 3 new models as well, which is Claude 3 and Claude 3.5 sonnets as well. And since then, we have a list of model which is available in Anthropic, in Bedrock. So basically, you have 4 models we are showing on the screen. The Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the newest one. And if you have a requirement of like, if you need an intelligent model which can give you the up-to-date output and price for high volume use cases, you can leverage Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Claude 3 Opus is also one of the powerful model for complex tasks, excels in unseen circumstances. So basically, if you have unseen scenario and you don't have a proper data set, you can try Claude 3 Opus to get the results. Claude 3 Sonnet is also one of the best one. It has a balance of speed and performance. And Claude 3 Haiku is the fastest, most effective, and preferred for the scale tasks. So far, we have learned about basics of generative AI. We have learned about Bedrock, how many models are available, and why Claude, why Anthropic Claude, because of the safety reasons. Now, let's learn about our partnership with AffinityX, and Matt Soroco will be the speaker here. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Priyanka, for the excellent overview of generative AI on AWS and our partnership with Anthropic. It's amazing to see how fast things change in this space. So I, again, am Matt Soroco. I'm the AWS account manager for AffinityX. And for the past 2 years, I've had the privilege of working with David and his team on a wide range of initiatives, anything from infrastructure modernization to digital transformation projects. And what really separates AffinityX apart is they have an unwavering commitment to innovation and customer outcomes. I think the thing I appreciate the most about working with David is we're constantly collaborating, sharing ideas back and forth. And when generative AI became top of mind for just about every executive, that collaboration intensified. And David actually posed a question for me. He said, is there a way we can leverage this to solve our customer problems, but also address long-standing industry challenges? And so then we had a breakout moment, and David and I met for coffee. It was supposed to be just a quick touch base, and we ended up brainstorming pretty much the entire day, and ended up uncovering a pretty critical challenge one of David's customers was facing, and how AWS, along with Cloudwick, were able to help solve this challenge. So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce David, the CEO of AffinityX, who's better known as Mick T within the AffinityX family. David, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. So I'm betting we have a few things in common. We all want to create successful, tangible, real-world AI applications, and we all have customers. I'm here as an AWS customer, but I want to share a customer story with you about one of my clients who's been having a problem with order operations to the extent that it was negatively impacting customer satisfaction due to late order delivery and accuracy of orders. Now, this client's in the promotional products industry. This industry historically has been slower to adopt digital transformation technologies and is very labor intensive. Our client CTO, who we were working very closely with, has been trying to solve this order operations problem for a decade, and is complicated by the fact that he's got thousands of products in his portfolio that are ordered through over 20,000 distributors using a variety of different order formats and literally millions of product customization options available. Now, our customer CTO for years has been running different trials and proof of concepts using OCR technologies and automation bots, and he's never been able to get comfortable that he can get data accurate enough to solve his customer's requirement. He's been concerned about the OCR extraction process and how data is displayed, validation of data, translation, being able to query multiple data sources, being able to handle exceptions in the process and integrate all that to his downstream systems. He's also been a proponent of industry standards. He's both a participant and a leader of a promotional product tech standards organization, and that organization's mission is to create supply chain standards for processing business transactions. All of these initiatives need enabling technology. And through our partnership and implementation of the Amorphic Data Cloud on AWS, we've been able to make data easier to manage and share and analyze. And we've been able to address the prior limitations associated with automation of order processing. So this is the customer story that I'd like to share with you today. First, a little bit about AffinityX. So we are a new kind of technology company built on decades of operational process excellence. We have different lines of business in digital marketing, creative services, production services, and custom AI-enabled workflows. We use workflows across our business, and we use that in customer support, in services, and operations, and sales and marketing. We use AI for workflow automation to automate repetitive tasks. We use it for automated research and personalization of content. We've even created an AI-powered sales platform that's used to create a 360-degree customer profile with product and service information, financial data, competitive data, branding information. And we combine that with our data asset, our campaign performance data, to be able to create an ideal campaign for any business. And then we automate the execution materials needed for branding and creative and ad tactics. We also use AI across different industry segments for our clients. We've created AIs for nonprofits to help them reach their fundraising goals by creating grant writing AIs. We've helped hospitality organizations more effectively communicate with their clients based upon advanced audience data. And we've helped media and agency clients of ours increase their sales of advertising by integrating sales planning tools and AI-powered campaign management. Our approach to AI is to integrate AIs, not just to create, but to integrate them into our workflows or our clients' workflows. And at AffinityX, we're using data combined with AI processes and people to create outcomes for our clients. We believe AI makes the human exceptional, and it's changed our services model to be automation first. Imagine an environment where the AI agent handles a workflow process end to end, adapts to challenges that may happen in the process, and seamlessly collaborates with the human team. But that isn't the future, it's our reality today and what we've been able to accomplish in this project. We've taken things that used to be manual, extracting data, translating, validating data, integrating to other systems, and we've been able to do all that in an automated fashion and use our human agents for exception handling and non-conformance scenarios. And we've been able to reorient this entire design process using this approach. We're also using the Amorphic Data Cloud's advanced semantic analysis, which allows us to more accurately extract key data since the AI understands the context of the words and data. We also support complex document structures, which is critically important in this environment because a lot of the information we need to capture is in tables, and we're using a variety of different order formats. We're also using multiple foundation models, which allows us to better cross-validate and make sure the data is accurate. In this project, what AI has given us is speed, accuracy, and efficiency. Our customer came to us and said, can you please help simplify this order process? Can you please bring to bear the enabling technologies to make this happen? And they described their pain points starting with manual data extraction. Almost all of their orders today are received via email. There's instructions in the body of the email, and then there's typically attachments, an artwork file, and a purchase order. All that information has to be extracted, translated, and then entered into the client's system. We've been doing this for years using human agents, and that is challenging because this industry has a lot of unique terms and processes, which means training these agents takes a long time. It typically takes us several weeks to reach a minimum level of proficiency and several months to reach the desired level of proficiency for each agent. Then there's data access and integration issues. No order is complete just based upon the information that we've received in that email and those attachments. We have to query several different customer portals to complete that order for inventory availability, pricing, shipping options, color selections. All that information has to be pulled together and consolidated before we can complete that order. If there's any ambiguity in the process, we may have to go back to the customer for clarification, which introduces a cost element and time. This business is very sensitive to shipping times, so we're trying to avoid anything that may delay the order shipment process. And then on top of this, there's a very high degree of variability in volumes on a seasonal basis, but even day to day and week to week. On some days, our client can receive less than 2,000 orders, and other days they can receive greater than 4,000 orders. And with a human team, this makes periods of overcapacity or extreme overtime. Oftentimes, we have to work the entire weekend just to meet the service levels for on-time to manufacturing to keep the shipping schedules intact. And then the backdrop of this is thousands of products ordered by more than 20,000 distributors using a variety of order formats and millions of product customization options. The end result is a very satisfied client, and we were able to automate the order process on behalf of this client. And I'd say it started with perhaps one of the most important parts of the process, which was a very detailed business process review to understand the systems, the process, and the people, and every task that's documented or undocumented that takes place in that process. We did that based upon our experience with the client, but also a very detailed business discovery. The most significant business benefit to this client has been a 90% improvement in order to delivery time. In a business that's very sensitive to getting that first order and that repeat order from a client based upon delivery timeframes, this is the big win and benefit for our client. So we've been able to take the discrete average handling time for an order from approximately 12 minutes down to just a few seconds with automation. And for the end-to-end order time from around 4 hours down to about 15 minutes. From an automation and data accuracy perspective, we've virtually eliminated the issues with staffing. So we don't have to worry about overstaffing and understaffing. And we've introduced new quality assurance tools. We have a fail-safe process where the AI triggers any exception scenario to a human agent. And we use a Rosetta Stone or translation table that automatically translates any unique distributor term into a standard value that's also forwarded to a human agent for data validation. And then that correct answer is fed back into the AI system so that our system is a learning system that gets smarter, more efficient, and more accurate. The Amorphic Data Cloud also created a very simple user interface for our agents. One place in the system that they can use to manage, share, and analyze data and handle any of those exception scenarios. Our clients also been able to realize about a 30% improvement in production and handling time, and we believe through this learning system that we've created and tuning of the exception array that we can more than double that to a 60% improvement in handling time for this client. And we've created a scalable model that really can adapt to any kind of volume, is integrated into the client's systems. We've been able to optimize the foundational models for the best combination of consumption cost and accuracy. We've been able to make the right API calls to query and capture the data that's needed to complete an order for pricing, color, shipping, inventory availability, and create perhaps the most important benefit is take a long-standing relationship for AffinityX and build a stronger relationship with this client based upon a successful project, and also create what we think is an application that can be taken out to the rest of the promotional product industry, and with some adaptation could be taken out to other AffinityX clients across other industries. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mark from Cloudwick, who's going to talk more about the Amorphic Data Cloud and is going to share a short video presentation of the user interface.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here. I'm Mark Schreiber. I'm General Manager at Cloudwick. I've been here since 2010. We're a big data company to begin with. And in 2010, Manny Chabra founded Cloudwick because he had seen Hadoop. One of his developers had gone to Facebook, and that developer told him, hey, there's this really great big data platform that I think is going to take over the world. And Manny thought, wow, you know what, this is interesting. Structured, semi-structured, unstructured data. And that began our journey as an open source system integrator. And our customers have ranged from Bank of America, Visa, PayPal, United Healthcare, Kaiser, Nike. We've had regulated industries, Freddie Mac, FINRA. And in 2016, it was really interesting. Sony Pictures, who we had built their big data environment for them in their data center, came to Manny and I and said, you know what, we think that there's a better way. We're tired of our data center and the time it takes for a replacement of hardware. We think our data and analytics will be better served in the cloud, and specifically AWS. And at that time, we were a system integrator for Cloudera, Hortonworks, MapR, Databricks, and they were using Cloudera. And they said, you know, we'd like to have a distribution for the AWS system solutions. Is there one? And Manny and I looked at each other and we thought to ourselves, gosh, you know what? This is an incredible opportunity. And this was 2018. And we looked at the complete stack, everything from Glue to S3 to Redshift to SageMaker. And we thought, yeah, you know what? There's a better way. There needs to be a distribution, a data fabric now, as we call it, for AWS. And so we started this journey with Sony Pictures in 2018. And we didn't know that large language models were obviously going to come to market and change everything for all of us. But AWS did have some of the first large language models, or ML. And so whether it was Textract or Comprehend or Forecast, we began to build this into our platform. And one of the interesting things coming from Hadoop is that siloed data and governance has always been the challenge. It's a challenge for the enterprise architect, it's a challenge for the developer, it's a challenge for the enterprise and for the user. And what's been really interesting in this journey is that we started to look at it and we thought, you know what? There is a way in which you can now unify. If you could unify the AWS data and analytics stack, orchestrate, automate it into a single panel of glass, whether that's for IT, an enterprise architect, a DevOps engineer, a data ops engineer, security ops engineer, for an analyst, a data scientist, and now you have one source of truth. One source of truth, I can bring all of my data from my ERP, my CRM, you name it, whatever the application is. Now, the interesting thing about this is we didn't know that obviously large language models were going to appear. And about 18 months ago, you know, we saw, like the rest of you, the emergence of large language models. We had built Amorphic so that it could support these original Textract, Comprehend, and SageMaker. And we looked at it. Oop, forgot to push my slide. Sorry, guys. We looked at it and we thought, you know, this is an opportunity that is unprecedented. If you can automate and you can bring into the workflow, into the system of record, into the data, into the applications, intelligence, you can transform business. And truly, it's not about AI. It's about intelligence added to your application. It's about intelligence added to your workflow. It's about intelligence added to your business process. And it's changing the way that the world operates. And it's happening so quickly, I can't believe the pace at which this innovation is emerging. So to give you some perspective in terms of what we have done with AWS, and this is again something that we've been doing for the last 5 years, and we have customers globally now. We've been very quiet because the development of this solution, it took us 4 years to get to a production level in which we had all of the solutions, all of the services for AWS, where we could connect to any data source, we could leverage any of the AWS services, AppFlow, Kinesis, DMS. And the reason why this becomes important, cost. Okay, so when we first looked at AWS, to us it was like an open source platform, lowest cost service and solution, highest performance and scalability. Now imagine today when you're looking at a data catalog. Right? You're like, I need a data catalog. If I'm going to bring all this silo data in, I'm going to now have to have governance. I'm going to have data classification. I'm going to be able to have compliance. I'm going to be able to have to regulate which user, which service, which application is accessing which data. This is where it becomes exciting for all of you. And when I was talking to you, there were some enterprise architects out here in the audience. There are developers in the audience. There's DevOps engineers in the audience. And I think today I'm going to give you an idea of what you can do and how you can do it quickly. So I'm going to go to the next slide here, because this is where I think it becomes really exciting. Being that we were an open source company, we knew that data governance and security had to be the first thing. When we were working with Bank of America back in 2010, the biggest issue for moving to the Cloudera Hadoop distribution for the departments was control and access of their data, right? Nobody wants to give centralized IT control of their data. They want to be able to have the actual say as to who can access, what applications can access, who can use the data. They don't want to give it over to someone. So we took that model that we learned at Bank of America, we learned at Visa, we learned at PayPal, and we said, you know what? We have to enable an organization to be able to give each of its data owners the ability to control who and what can access that data, and also provide them with compliance, and make that whole data sharing easy for them. And so what we've done today, and I think this is where it's a really new age, it's about intelligence. Being able to take your existing data debt, your technical debt, and add intelligence on top of it. I'm not suggesting that you have to replace your data warehouse, that you have to replace a data lake, or that you have to replace an application. But what I am sharing with you, because I talked to many of you, you're looking at right now, how can AI change the improvement of my organization, the performance, the operational efficiencies? And when I look at it, I get really excited, as you can tell, thinking about intelligent applications. If I have the ability to control the data, the security, the governance of any data set in a centralized data platform, I now can control every large language model's access, governance, and security. And being that we were an open source company, we realized that that's going to be the difference. You need to control the security, you need to control the governance. If you're going to orchestrate data to a data warehouse, to a data lake, to a health lake, or to any other analytic service, you need to have that automation. And this is where, again, I think it becomes really exciting in terms of where we're at today in the industry, is a new platform for intelligence. And I'm going to play a video here that we did. And when you start looking at this, David talked about the intelligent workflow, intelligent applications. This is about doing more with what you have. And what you'll see from Amorphic, we've now enabled you as a developer, as an enterprise architect, to leverage 70 large language models and growing, and be able to orchestrate and automate that to the existing systems of record. So your CRM, your ERP, you name it, you need to be able to enhance them with these types of intelligence. So I'm going to do a demo, and this is live, this is real, as David said. I mean, this is an incredible use case. So we are not just doing the vision, but we are automating the entire workflow and validation of, as you'll see, an incredible amount of business rules on these purchase orders, and doing complete validation, lookup, and then sending it straight to manufacturing. So I hope you enjoy this.
At Cloudwick, we partnered with AffinityX to tackle a significant challenge: processing over 100,000 unique purchase orders annually across 1,000 products and 20,000 distributors. Multiple order formats made manual processing unsustainable, so AffinityX turned to us for an innovative solution. We introduced our Amorphic Intelligent Document Processing platform that works on AWS and leverages advanced AI and machine learning to automate the entire purchase order process. Our system begins by directly ingesting orders from emails and immediately starts data extraction. What sets it apart is its use of advanced semantic analysis. This means it doesn't just read text, it comprehends context, allowing for highly relevant extraction without the need for template-specific coding. One of the key strengths of our Amorphic IDP is its ability to adapt to complex document structures. Whether it's multi-page tables or nested data fields, our fine-tuned AI models handle these variations with ease, extracting key information and breaking it down into individual subfields for enhanced accuracy. We've integrated advanced AI vision, leveraging 2 multi-model generative AI systems to ensure precise text extraction. These models cross-verify the extracted data. When they agree, processing continues automatically. If there's a discrepancy, the system flags it for review, thereby improving accuracy. Since our solution runs on your AWS account, the data remains in your network. Our platform incorporates complex business rules and validation checks, cross-referencing extracted data with AffinityX's database in real time. This prevents errors that could lead to costly manufacturing mistakes, ensuring each order is processed with utmost accuracy. A unique feature is our Rosetta Stone lookup system. It dynamically translates varied distributor terms into standardized values. For instance, whether a distributor uses indigo or navy blue, our system standardizes these terms to match the manufacturer's preferred nomenclature, maintaining consistency across all orders. We've also built in a learning component. When the AI encounters data it can't validate, it initiates a human-in-the-loop process. Any corrections made by users are fed back into the system, continuously improving its accuracy and refining the Rosetta Stone lookup. Scalability was a key consideration in our design. The Amorphic IDP solution easily handles high volumes of varied orders, and its flexible architecture ensures smooth adaptation to new templates and data fields as AffinityX grows. It also integrates seamlessly with your existing systems, making it a breeze to generate insightful dashboards and analytics in no time. Our solutions streamlined invoicing and eliminated manual steps that significantly reduced AHT and order-to-delivery time by more than 90%. In essence, AffinityX has transformed its order processing with Cloudwick's Amorphic IDP.
It's an exciting time, and when you start looking at the operational efficiencies, I talked to a couple of enterprise architects out here. So being that we're an open source company, this is all running on AWS infrastructure. However, we have more than 1,000 APIs. And so from a perspective of being able to build beyond this, where it becomes really important that you didn't see yet is the Amorphic Data Catalog. So the Amorphic Data Catalog is structured, semi-structured, unstructured. We're leveraging large language models to be able to go through and do data classification, so PII, CGIS, HIPAA, to be able to provide this then as a way to control and manage all of the regulatory requirements that an organization might have, so that when we're connecting to hundreds of different sources, bringing that data in, we're able to provide that type of compliance and that instant regulatory governance of data. And this is, again, a huge step in terms of changing the way in which we use, access, and manage our data. And if we look at the Amorphic Data Catalog, this is something for those of you that I talk to that are application developers that are looking to be able to add AI into your applications, into your reporting. Amorphic has right now, like I said, 70 large language models. You have an AI engine for the developer. And this is where I think it's going to change as well. You know, we talked about enterprise architects. I think where the next future is really around your intelligent architect, who is going to be able to bring better value, faster time to service, faster time to information with the existing systems of record that you have. You will with Amorphic. And one of the things that's critical here, the reason why we did this with AWS is when you start looking at being able to remove all of the key systems that are very expensive on the stack, whether that's data ingestion, right? That can be a very expensive service. Then you have the data management, data catalog, data processing. You have the data warehouse, you have the data lake. What you get with Amorphic, the Amorphic Data Platform, is a single solution that deploys into your AWS account. And this is key because it isn't then bridging the data to me. You're able to control, you're able to manage, you're able to determine exactly what services that data is going to, whether it's in the AWS cloud or going to another cloud service provider. And this is where I think for all of us it gets super, super exciting, is if you now look at this and say, hey, in 60 minutes, I can deploy this into my AWS account. It orchestrates and automates governance, compliance. I have an instant data catalog. I can do no-code data ingestion, whether it's streaming, whether it's coming from a SQL database, JDBC, ODBC connection, whether it's coming from an ERP or CRM application, be able to bring that in, classify it. Now also in terms of setting it up, we do Active Directory and single sign-on. So now we're able to identify from a group perspective, from a user perspective, from an application. You as an IT administrator or a data administrator are able to now say, all right, this department, this is their data, this is a multi-tenant type infrastructure and environment. So in any event, I'd love to be able to share more with you. This is a really exciting time, I think, to be here. And I hope that from your career perspective, you're able to really leverage the power of AWS. And if Amorphic can be that journey partner with you, we'd be happy to be that too. So I'll bring David back up. And I think, David, you'll close it out. Thank you.
Thanks. I wanted to share this customer quote and slide. So our client, the reveal here is our client is Kuzi Group, one of the larger companies in the promotional products industry. We've had a long-standing relationship with them for more than a decade. And Phil Gergen is their CTO. And essentially, just to reiterate, we've been able to create this AI order processing automation solution and seamlessly integrate it into his systems and manage the entire order processing for him using this enabling technology. And I'd almost say we've co-created this together with him. He was, and his team were hands-on during the discovery process to make sure we understood all the things that were happening in the business process today. And he's going to be an advocate for us as we go out and we we try to talk about this application with other distributors and other suppliers within the promotional products industry. So Phil is a great resource and a great reference, and would certainly be available for anyone who would like to inquire and have an opportunity to speak to this client relative to their actual experience.
Hey, David. They'd like us to just have a really quick Q&A between us. And I think this is really exciting because I came to know David back in December of last year when he said, hey, we are really looking to get into AI. I haven't seen a CEO who's been probably more of a visionary than what David and Affinity have been doing. Because this problem, what Phil talked about, how many times has Kuzi Group tried to solve this purchase order automation?
Yeah, literally for a decade. He's been trying different trials and proof of concepts and can't figure out how to get the enabling technology with all the complexity of different systems and processes to come together.
And this is not just the only AI use case that Affinity is working towards. Can you talk a little bit about how you see the future of your business being impacted by AI?
Yeah, I made reference to this. So our AI-enabled or sales-powered platform is directly relevant to any business that wants to grow their opportunities, to be able to target the right audience, to interact with their customers in the right way. We're using data, AI-powered data, to be able to ideally find your right audience, to be able to connect with them and have a increased return on ad spend. It's completely changed our business from a digital marketing perspective, from the way we target, the way we execute, the way we manage creative delivery. It's our 3 projects are AI, data warehouse, and AI enabling our operational platform.
How is this going to change the revenue scale capacity in terms of being able to add AI to automate these business workflow processes that then remove the burden of the human piece?
Yeah, I think we're trying to temper our expectations.
Yeah.
You heard us talk about a 90% improvement in order to delivery time just for this application. We've been able to do things from a personalization of content perspective that have sometimes a 70 to 80% improvement in performance and output. It truly is automation with human assistance. And we're trying to be automation first, and anything that we can enable and automate within our business with AI, and then integrate that into our workflow to make our human agents, our human staff more effective at dealing with those exception scenarios. That's our objective.
Now, I think you saw in the video for Affinity, there was the dual LLM model. And so this is something that you might start to consider because of hallucination, right? You can't control it. A large language model sees my name, says, hey, you know what? It's I before E, not EI, and it just changes it. It doesn't tell you, hey, I've changed it. It just does it automatically. So this is actually, I think, a really interesting takeaway for all of you who are looking at trying to solve hallucinations. In the case of a purchase order, right, you've got financial information, you've got quantity information. If by chance that, vision model pulls it out and says, hey, that's 100 units, not 1,000 units, or vice versa, you have a now huge impact to your business. And I think this is one of the things that working with Affinity that is really exciting, and that is the ability to use 2 models to be able to check against each other. And so when they don't both register the same answer, a flag going up, right? And then that going to human in the loop to say, hey, which one of these is right? They both could be wrong too, right? And you still get a flag. So those are some of the innovations that we've been working on with Affinity, which I think will have a big impact. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, David, so everyone talks about AI, but I think what we talked about was intelligent applications, right? And that's really what you guys are doing, is bringing intelligence to your workflow, your business processes. What do you think the next 24 months are going to bring in terms of innovation in your business?
Well, I want to make a comment based upon that about different foundational models. So even in this project, we've changed our foundational models at least 3 times. And we're currently looking at, it's so dynamic relative to cost and capability for processing, for quality. I think that's going to continue to happen to optimize what's the best quality at the best consumption cost. So that's something that is happening all the time. And that's why we're going to continue to see improvements in this application for Kuzi Group based upon our focus on different foundational models and the exception arrays.
Yeah, I think that's actually also a really good point, because I did talk to a bunch of you who are in development. And if you look at development, one of the things that we realized as an open source company is that you want to be able to, in real time, test those large language models on your data sets and not have to do a lot to change the model. And that's been a really value proposition for Affinity, because when we start looking at, okay, performance, right? You start looking at accuracy. Well, how important is accuracy for this part of the application AI? It may not be that important. If it's not important, don't use 3.5 Sonnet. Use the lower one. So again, I just think in terms of the tools that you have and where your business is headed and your application ability to adjust and to be able to bring new value to your business, being able to have that agility and that flexibility to control the data, to govern the data, and then to choose how that data's workflow and business process is going to be applied. Because again, in this case, the extraction of data with vision is just the first. That wasn't the end use case. The next use case was, hey, we had to look up against the database for pricing. We had to look up against the database for color. We had to look up against the database for shipping and all of these business rules. That's where it becomes super powerful, when you can take any document, which you can, because we have now customers like in insurance that are bringing their documents for customer agents and being able to provide intelligent, real-time response and answers based upon policy of the company. So in any event, David, I really appreciate the opportunity to do this business with you, and I think the future is bright. And if you have any questions that you want to talk to us after, we'll be here. But thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, and please take a moment to fill out the survey, and we'll be outside if you have any questions after the session. Thank you.
Thank you.